You're listening to a Rev FM production podcast. Welcome to Pastors Live, the show that discusses things of the Bible and current events for people who love to laugh. And now, the hosts who answer questions with more questions. It's Pastors Dave, Ty, Shane, and the other guy.
And I hope y'all had a wonderful Mother's Day. God bless you guys. And we are so glad that you're joining us for Pastors Live. We've got Gary Austin, the voice of the Valley.
Hey, Pastors.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Hi, Gary Bear.
And if you want to contact us, it's Pastors Live at therev.fm, Pastors Live at therev.fm. We've actually got some comments about games we got to get to here in a minute. You know, some
if
toys.
you really want to contact us, you should just swing by Greenhouse Coffee. There's a good chance one of us is sitting there having a cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. We've got Pastor Shane in the studio today.
Hello.
And we got Pastor Dave here today.
God bless you guys.
And we got Steve. Pastor Steve's here today.
Howdy.
And
Top
Steve,
of the morning to
how you doing,
Top
Steve?
of the morning.
No, you took a little
Good.
time off to spend with your grandbaby and your kids.
Yeah.
So, how was that?
It was awesome.
Good. Did you yell at the graduation, or did you behave yourself?
I behaved myself. She had a big class. I mean, it was like 1,100 in her. Just
Did
in
they
her
call all the names?
college. Yeah, all the names.
Oh, yes.
It was a long day, and we were with the baby, so we said, "Oh, we'll take the baby out and walk the baby."
What's her last name?
Her last name?
Yeah.
Redmer.
Oh.
Yeah, daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law.
Her daughter-in-law.
Her,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, I was like,
My bad.
What?
It was Legowski is
It
her
was
other
a trick
name.
question.
Was her maiden name,
What was it?
Legowski.
Oh, Legowski.
Yeah.
Well, she would have graduated
Yeah,
sooner.
I was just going to say that.
The big Legowski.
Legowski. Yeah. Legowski.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Does she abide?
Yeah.
The dudette abides.
The dude had
So it was great. It was great being with them.
Right?
It was
And
nice.
you took little Sam
Oh,
up
yeah.
to Yellowstone.
Yeah, you got to see him.
Right? I got to hold him.
Yeah, you got to hold him.
He's a good little guy.
Yeah, we went to Yellowstone, and that was great.
Did he see Old Faithful?
We didn't go there. We went the other way.
Oh, you went up north.
Yep.
Oh, did he say it stinks?
He didn't say much. He slept most of the time. So we did go to the wolf and bear encounter. Or the
Oh, nice.
Bear World?
Bear World. When we went to Bear World, and then we went to the one in
The Discovery Center.
Yeah, Discovery Center.
So you got to see
That
some
was cool.
wolves up
Oh,
close.
yeah. There was a lot of wolves.
Did he dig that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So-
And
That's
bears.
So cool.
So
Yeah, so
The bears.
The bears. The bulls. The
Bear
bears.
World was
The
pretty
bears.
cool.
The bears.
So
Okay.
He loved that.
What was it?
Bear World was cool. We saw.
I've
we
never
actually
been
saw.
there, actually.
Yeah, well, they have the trees. They're wrapped with the metal, so
Oh,
they
uh-huh.
can't climb.
Yeah.
So we're looking, and there was one bear in one of the trees. It was the one tree that didn't have the metal around the.
Oh, how funny.
They found it, and he was up there just straddling one of the branches.
Nice.
It was funny.
Was he looking at you like, ooh, look, lunch in a tin
Right.
Yeah,
can?
but I can't get down. If I
Smorgasbord.
could get down, then
Right?
it was crazy.
That's cool. How fun. Are they still, or did they have to go back?
They went back. Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
what's
they're
your...
in Texas now.
They're in Texas, and my wife is like sad.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
what is your favorite part of Yellowstone when you guys go? What's your favorite thing to do in Yellowstone? Because there's so much to do, and we live so close to here, and you think about it, a lot of people who live here. We're so close to Jackson Hole, the Tetons. And of course, we love going to Jackson because great coffee places in Jackson. We love to go
Montana's
to.
right there.
And
Obviously.
so what's your favorite thing to do when you go to Yellowstone? What is your favorite thing to do?
Eat. No, I'm kidding.
Picnic lunch.
Picnic lunch.
Yeah.
We like to ride our bikes. So it's funny. It's all cool. I love it all. Our most favorite thing to do, you can't do anymore. They've closed the fire hole swim hole. So Devil's Fire Hole, swim hole, that was our absolute favorite thing to do, and they've closed that. You can't get to it. You have no access to it now. But we like to ride our bikes. So when you go in through the West Gate and when you go to Madison Junction and you go toward Old Faithful, right? You turn right and go toward Old Faithful. Geysers, all the geysers and Geyser Basin are on your right-hand side. There's a bike trail that we like to ride that when you ride it, all those geysers are actually on your left-hand side, and you actually are riding among geysers. There's no boardwalks. It's all very raw back in that part of the country, and you ride through, around these geysers, and then at the end of this bike trail, they have the bike racks, and I shouldn't say this. My wife's going to shoot me. It's probably one of Yellowstone's best kept secrets. Of the millions of people who show up at Yellowstone this summer, a couple of thousand will do what I'm about to say. There's a place called Fairy Falls. And at the end of that bike path, there's a bike rack, and then there's a 1.5 mile hike up to Fairy Falls, and it's very raw, very undisturbed, and it's a beautiful hike. It's a lot of fun. So in and out, it's only 11 miles, and we like to do that. That's our favorite thing.
Yeah, Shane, what about you? And you and Gabby go. Have you guys experienced that together? Done a lot of that yet?
Yeah, I like to hike. We like to hike it. So we actually did that with Gabby's best friend when she came up. We did that exact hike.
Nice.
Back there. We saw
So
the bike
fun.
racks and everything. And we
And
didn't have
very
bikes.
few people.
Yeah, hardly. We only saw one small group of people on our way.
Isn't
But
it cool?
what's interesting,
And you walk among geysers.
yeah,
Yeah.
And what's
It's
interesting is you see we saw more bikers than we did people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't put their bikes on the bike racks; they just keep biking or whatever, and they don't do that little hike. So
Up to Fairy Falls?
Yeah.
It's a mistake. You
yeah,
got to do that.
You have to do it because it's an amazing waterfall for sure. It's
Oh, wait, no, wait. For people who are thinking about coming this summer, it's not that good. Forget about it.
I think the best part of
Just go to Old Faithful.
just go to Old Faithful. I think the best part of any national park is doing the hikes and going down the offshoot things that are just so random.
Have you guys discovered Lone Star Cone?
No, not yet. Mm-hmm. Should I?
Dude.
Yeah.
You and 3 other people will be there. I kid you not. It's called Lone Star.
Nice.
And it is like nobody
That's why it's called Lone.
hardly does it. Yeah, it's alone. Very lonely.
Very lonely.
Yeah. It's really cool.
We'll have to try it, man.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, what about you, man? What do you do when you go to Yellowstone?
I like to.
His big old smile.
His big old smile. He's like,
I like to go up and get selfies with the bison and pet the babies and just enjoy, the
You like to cuddle with the wolves.
the goring that I would get,
cuddle
and
the
I do
wolves,
that.
Yeah.
It's just,
By the way,
So
what's
you're
our
the poster
I
child
had
for
to say
Turlons.
it.
By the way-
I had to say it.
Is there anybody on our ticker
But don't
for
do
this
that,
year yet?
please.
Is there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. The park's been open for about a month, and we're up to 3 so far.
Are we
Yeah.
up to 3
Yeah.
people
Yeah, I
injured
don't know
with
who's
wild
got
animals?
the best distance and
Yeah.
the best height, but
I don't
The
know.
buffalo.
But
The
don't do
buffalo
that.
do.
Don't-
Yeah.
I was just joking, obviously.
So, yeah.
But I do like to go. We do love Old Faithful, obviously.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of our favorite. We
Never
could go
get tired
there
of seeing it.
every day, and it would be not boring. But we also like the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. That's where we went. That's where we went this last time.
Yellowstone. It's
Because
gorgeous.
we asked them, "Do you want to go to Yellowstone or Old Faithful, or do you want to go there?" They said, "Let's go there. We've never been there." So we went there.
Did
and
you
it
hike
was-
all the- did you
we
hike all
went
the way down?
Yeah, we went
It's
600
amazing.
feet.
Yeah, hiking down's easy.
Yeah,
You
going
came
up.
back up.
So the last-
it was it was a 600-foot,
Yeah.
drop. They say
Yeah.
drop. So
It's
we went
vertical,
down, and I'm like, okay, this is great. Now how am I get back up?
Yeah.
My knees. I thought my knees were just gonna
So the last time,
Right?
hurt, but they were fine.
yeah, the last time I
was
went,
But
surprised.
it's a hike up.
I
Oh,
weighed
yeah.
over 300 pounds last
Right.
time I went. I thought
Did
I
you
was
go to the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone?
and
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm like, I went with my wife. I went down to the bottom. I thought
Oh,
I just
Ty.
said, "Tell the kids I love them." Coming back up because I was like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
300
was-
pounds is a lot. Because
Yeah.
I did the same thing while I was
Yeah.
at 270, and that's a lot of packing.
it's a lot of extra weight to
Back
do that.
up those steps.
But it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Now I'd take a
It was
backpack
great.
with 80 pounds just to exercise.
Right.
But I could
Yeah.
always take the backpack off. So
Yeah.
that was.
Do
So
you guys like Mammoth Hot Springs up
Oh,
north?
Yeah, I love that too.
Yep.
Beautiful up there.
It's
we went up
gorgeous.
there.
A
Yeah,
little
it is
smelly.
yeah, it
it's
is.
so stinky.
If you get out on that one boardwalk and you can walk for miles and miles back among all those geysers and whatnot, it's gorgeous. It's just beautiful.
The last time I was there was a guy that left the boardwalk at the Old Faithful Inn. He left the boardwalk and he was going up and he was setting a camera up, looking down into the geyser, and I'm looking around for somebody in green and tan. I'm like, I'm not gonna go get him.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know that that's heated by boiling hot lava?
Yeah, I was like, we need somebody to go get this crazy person. Of course, he comes back
I'm
and
just gonna stand here when it erupts and get a good picture.
That was pretty much what was going on. And, I think one of the things that we don't recognize is that there are things in this life that they're beautiful, but they're dangerous. If you think about some of the beautiful painted pools, but the water is so hot it'll instantly burn you. And there's a reason you don't get off the boardwalks.
Hello.
Because
you
that ground
you will not survive.
Well, that ground isn't stable, things like that. And I was thinking about how the devil works, right? So the devil, he has a tendency to want us to look at all these pretty things and get off the path, So you think about those boardwalks. The boardwalks in Yellowstone are to keep us safe.
That's right.
Right? And so sometimes people are like, oh, well, look, there's a buffalo. I want to go get a picture. See, when Lori and I go, one of our favorite things to do is to take the top off the Jeep and then to take a video camera. And anytime we see somebody going to take a picture of a buffalo, we start a video because we're like this
could be our shot.
This could be the thing that makes us some money. But you just feel bad because people don't realize there's a reason, there's a path to follow. And I love that picture where the word of the Lord is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, where the word of God tells me where I am and where I'm going, not where I've been, but where I am and where I'm going and where I need to go. Because there are times that we need to change things in our lives. We just God's saying, no, you're done going this way. I want you to go a different direction. I'm going to illuminate the direction I want you to go because that's how I want you to go, because I want you to follow me. And I kind of love this picture. We were talking yesterday about how we're supposed to be following Jesus out of John chapter 10. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. It wasn't yesterday. That was church. I was on
the other
on Friday.
day.
The other day. Not to be confused with Steve. But going and saying, hey, Jesus said, I am the light of the world. So you think about the word of God is the lamp unto our feet. Jesus is the living word. He says, I am the light of the world. He says, follow me. There are times that he's illuminating the path as we follow him. And sometimes he might go a direction we don't plan on. But if we're looking to the side and we go, oh, that's really pretty over there. Oh, check that out over there. That could be dangerous spiritually, physically, if you're going to go wander off the path. We have to follow Jesus clearly. And Yellowstone's a great example of stay on the path and don't go play with the big giant wild animals. I mean, that's, because how many people are like, well, I thought it'd be really fun. And then they're in the hospital, they're injured. You think about, people do that spiritually too. I mean, I think that's really important to think about, being on that narrow path, which leads to life.
Yeah, I mean, 100% right. The problem is we have a tendency to think, gosh, staying on the path is boring. And staying on the path might mean, it's going to take a little longer. And it's interesting, in our reading today in John 11, over the weekend we read about the resurrection of Lazarus. But today, in verse 45, it says, many of the Jews who came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. Some of them went their way to the Pharisees and tattled on Jesus, verse 46. I think it actually says that in the Greek. I'm kidding. But it says they told on him. That's tattling. And then the chief priests and the Pharisees, they get together and they're all tied up in knots and they want to figure out how to kill him. But I love that. In verse 45, many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. And I wrote myself a note here next to that verse. The longer he delays, the greater the glory. Because you remember Mary had said, along with her sister Martha, oh, Lord, if you had been here, our brother had not died. And truly, even the Jews said, gosh, this man could do all these great things. Couldn't he have kept his friend from dying? But now Jesus resurrects Lazarus from the dead. If Jesus had come and healed Lazarus, it would have been just one more healing. Yeah, that's what he does. Yay, another show. Let's all gather around. Everybody knows if Jesus gets here, Lazarus is going to get healed. But Jesus delays. He purposely delayed going. Then he resurrects Lazarus from the dead. And I think that's interesting because the longer the delay, the greater the glory. And sometimes, it does seem like, man, but if I stay on this path that God has illuminated for me from his word, I don't know, I'm not very patient. Kind of seems to be taking a long time for God to do what he says he's going to do. Yeah, you mean like Isaac? 14 years Abraham and Sarah end up waiting for Isaac. Do you think that was a blessing? The longer the delay, the greater the glory. Sometimes we have a tendency to think, well, I'm going to pray and God's going to answer my prayer. And he's like this genie that if I rub the lamp just right, God's going to answer my prayer today. Well, he is answering in your prayer. And it might be that the answer is, this is going to take a few years, but
it's going to take time.
It's okay.
Well, if you think about it, a lot of people they want the shortcut because everything's about shortcuts now, right? We have shortcuts on our keyboards. We have shortcuts with microwave. We can make baked potatoes so fast, popcorn so fast. I mean, we could do all these things, and everything's about a shortcut. And if we follow the Yellowstone path analogy, right? If the boardwalk takes a turn, and you go, well, it'd be faster for me to step off the boardwalk and just go straight instead of follow the path through the turn, which is the example. You don't realize what dangers are there. And there might be flowers and it might look good. It might look solid. But you know what? Sometimes taking that shortcut could end your life. And I think
burn you real bad.
Or burn you real bad. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I saw a lady... Sylvia, I saw a lady a couple years ago who just put her boot down, sat on the edge of the boardwalk and just put her boot down, and the sole of her boot started smoldering. It's like, lady, what are you doing? Stop.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So, like, to your point, just stay on the boardwalk.
Well, stay on the path. Yeah. And I think being patient is important because there are no shortcuts to your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health. There's no shortcuts to learning. There's no shortcuts to being a skilled artisan, a skilled musician, a skilled mechanic. There are no shortcuts. You have to be diligent. And I think what we don't understand about the idea we've been talking about in assurance the last few programs, I think the issue about assurance is diligence. I think if you put a diligence with if you're struggling with assurance, add diligence to your life in following Jesus. Diligent to pray. And by the way, these things are not works, these are relational.
That's exactly
right.
It's trust.
It's trust, right?
It's trust.
It's trust.
It's like you have to trust the boardwalk because you know you're going to get burned.
Yeah, and like Dave said, they shut down that one area. Sometimes it's because they're rebuilding boardwalks. Other times it's because it's become unstable. It's now not safe. And they're like, we'd rather. I know it's really fun for people, but we're going to have to shut this down because we don't want people to
There's
hurt.
an interesting book that Sylvia and I have. We listened to it on Audible, like when we're driving up to the park, called Death in Yellowstone. And you can get a hard copy of it at the visitor center there by Old Faithful. They have the hard copies of this book. And it documents all of the deaths in the park since 1872, right? When the park was opened. And it's pretty fascinating, actually, some of the stories. But I don't know what the exact numbers are, 95% of the deaths in Yellowstone are because of human arrogance.
Right.
I was going to use the S word, but I won't because there's little ears and, you shouldn't say stupid on the air. So human arrogance. And, people think, well, it doesn't apply to me or it doesn't look that hot. You're not going to go diving into a geyser and survive.
But that's what I was going to talk about, is that you got the people that look and go, oh, that's fun. That's pretty. I want to go check that out.
Like you were saying, Ty.
But then you have the people that say, I can do it. It's got the other people, but I can do it.
Yep.
Right? And those two attitudes are very dangerous. We were talking about sanctification the other day, right?
Right.
Sanctification, I was thinking about this, and in this illustration with Yellowstone and the boardwalk, sometimes we got to be patient and learn how to trust God more and more and more, because at our default, I'm just going to be honest about me, there's things that I have to learn to trust the Lord. At default, I don't just accept the Lord and go, oh, I trust in everything that he does and I'm fully there, right?
Right.
It's an ongoing process, and I'm learning to trust the Lord more and more every day by staying on the boardwalk. Right. That way I don't get hurt.
Right.
Right.
And for us, that's the Word of God.
It's the Word of God.
Right?
Exactly.
And so, we live in this AI world, right? And like Pastor Ty was saying, we've got a microwavable world. Every meal you eat can be microwaved now. You can have 3 microwavable meals per day. You can write papers for your classes in high school or maybe even college, I suppose, first or second year of college. You can have these AI apps that'll write papers for you. You might actually fake out your teachers and your professors. Are you getting an education? No. Because you're letting some computer, whatever it is, write some paper for you, and you might say, oh, this is great, man, I'm sliding through. Well, you might be sliding through, but I'll tell you what, I don't want to have surgery done by a doctor or dental work done by a dentist who went through medical school on AI.
Well,
I want to know that dude or that gal did the work, man.
And if you think you can slide through the Good Shepherd,
you're never going to slide through.
His sheep hear his voice. So when he calls and you think you're sliding through, you're just going to go, huh? What?
Right.
So, yeah, exactly.
So your point, Ty, be diligent.
Yeah.
Stay in the Word of God. Do the work. Is it going to be a bit of a journey? Yeah, there's 66 books here. You're going to make your way through them. It might take you a year or two, and then you start all over again. And the more and more you do it, man, I've been doing it for a few decades. I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Yep. Hey, guys, listen, it's a good Monday. It is National Leprechaun Day. So, Dave, be careful. That's for you.
Yeah, if you can catch one, that'd be great. Just be sure if you catch one and they give you their pot of gold, be sure to tithe.
Yeah, 10%. Hey, listen, you're loved, your family. God bless you. We'll talk to you next time.
You've reached the end of another episode of Pastors Live, a Rev FM production podcast. Thank you for listening. Submit your questions and comments by email to pastorslive@therev.fm. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review from your favorite podcast listening platform. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon so you don't miss the next episode drop.